What I've learned is that if I am defying or acting in opposition to the system, then I am still operating within that system. So, what that does for some folks who really live their life in doing what is opposite of the system is it creates this paradox. If I no longer want the system to exist, and yet my actions are actually being defined by what the system is doing, then I'm still playing a role in the upkeep of the system. I want to make this clear. I'm not saying that this is a right thing or a wrong thing. I am saying it's important to be able to consider if I'm trying to think outside the box, but the box is the place in which I'm operating, and I'm still upholding the box. So even when we're challenging established structures or norms, we are often working within their boundaries. We're often reinforcing their existence by reacting to them. What I've come to learn within my own journey that I wanted to share here with you all is that true transformation requires not only resistance, but a fundamental shift in the framework itself. True transformation requires not only resistance to the system, it requires a fundamental shift in the framework itself. When I think of charting a path forward, it involves stepping outside of the existing paradigms and creating new systems that aren't merely reactions to the old ones. It is creating new systems that are not merely reaction to the old ones. And when I'm talking systems here, this can be the system of which our country is running. It could be your family system. It can be your own internal system. When I talk systems, I'm talking about all of these places of which we operate, from a larger societal standard to our family system to our own individual internal system. Charting a different path forward involves stepping outside of your existing paradigms. It involves creating new systems that are not just reactions to the old ones. It's about reimagining possibilities. It's about fostering alternatives that are not confined by the restraints of the current system. What do I mean by that? On an individual level, if I am trying to shift my relationship with myself, if I am trying to shift this thing that I don't like about me, a reaction to that is to try to do the opposite of what I don't like. But a shift, a real fundamental shift in the transformation is developing a different relationship with that thing that I don't like. On a family level, if I'm trying to shift, if I'm trying to support the shifting of our family system, I could decide to operate within the system or just do the opposite of what I've seen them do. And I could decide to actually go about having a conversation of what we want this new working to look like so that everybody could be on the same page. That's just an example. On a societal level, I get why there is resistance. There will always be people who are within the resistance. And I think there's other folks who are working within that fundamental shift of the framework itself. I think there are other people on a societal level that is not just resisting the system or disrupting the system. They are operating outside of the system and not in opposition to it, but more in connection to what is really true. Because these systems are so false. I get that they're in reality, and these systems are just so convoluted and false and untrue. That some people are actually supporting a fundamental shift in the system by operating outside of it. Reimagine the possibilities. Foster different systems that are not confined by the constraints of the one that you are currently in, that we are currently in. It could mean creating parallel structures or movements that prioritize values and goals that are distinct from those being upheld by the dominant system. And when I say distinct from that system, it does not mean in opposition to, it does not mean the opposite of. Creating parallel structures, creating parallel movements, for me is about tapping into what is true, what is community, what's really the value, what is common humanity in its true sense. I believe that long lasting and sustainable change comes from not opposing the system, but really cultivating new ways of being able to inherently transcend it. And that is on an individual level, that is on a family group level, and that's on a societal level. Take a moment and just see where you fit in with the work. What is it that calls to you? Where is it that you can pause your resistance and tap into what is true? It makes me think of conversations that I have with people about therapy, that therapy does not just have to be centered around, I got this problem that I'm trying to work through. Therapy can also be centered around, here are my strengths, here's what's going well, and being able to really lean in and blossom those areas. Believe it or not, shifts in the system, changing the system, operating from a different system can work in the same way. It doesn't have to be problem focused. It can be strengths focused. It can be beauty focused. And that focus can be what's tapped into to grow and make it larger and leave less room for the rest of it. Curious about how this is landing for folks. I definitely invite you to leave a comment, drop a like. Don't forget to share, subscribe, spread the word. Take care.